Dear guests, I hope you're ready to explore even more fintech trends. Our next session, the Intelligent Ledger, AI and ML Transforming Fintech, will cover one of the most talked topics in the industry. To guide us through the AI labyrinth and introduce the great speakers, let's welcome on stage our moderator, Qasim Esak, Head of Client Optimization at Pelican Exchange. Qasim, dear speakers, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, nice to meet you all today. I'm really looking forward to this discussion. We've got an excellent panel, and of course, AI is the biggest paradigm shifter in the industry right now, and so hopefully we should have a really good discussion. Why don't you all introduce yourself, just tell your name, what you do, your company you work for, and how you're possibly leveraging AI in your company.
Should I go first?
Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Andrew Lane. I'm the CEO of Acuity Trading. I've launched Acuity about 10 years ago. We focus on providing investors with research, signals, technical analysis, and many other tools through their brokers. And one of the areas that we first launched off was in the field of AI and sentiment analysis, or what in the industry is known as NLP. And I've been involved in natural language processing for the last 20 years now, since 2005. And NLP is one of the building blocks, you might say, of what we now know as large language models or ChatGPT. So it's been an interest of mine for many, many years.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Hatzakis with forexbrokers.com. We write online broker reviews, and we rank and rate online brokers. So we have authoritative domains such as forexbrokers.com, stockbrokers.com, investor.com, where I'm the global director of online broker research, testing broker products and playing with platforms and checking out research and all the other categories. AI is something that I just got into last year. I started developing with the ChatGPT with the OpenAI plugin. I got access to be a plugin developer and just started experimenting with, connecting broker APIs to ChatGPT interfaces and just, playing around with the technology and just passionate about it and, what the possibilities that it could bring.
Hello, my name is Lilian Appenheimer. I'm the Global Director Customer Success at Trading Central. Trading Central is a global provider of market insights. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary this year. And we are founded and built a company and products by industry experts who worked on the trading floors of top-tier banks, and we analyzing and process large language models for many years. And in particular, over the last 6-7 years, we are specializing in using and training our own AI model to understand and get insights on news and sentiments in the financial market and how that can help and shape the confidence and the decision-making of investing in financial markets. We provide our solutions to FX as well as equity brokers worldwide. And yeah, looking forward to discuss today on this interesting panel.
Hello there, I'm Tom Higgins and I am CEO and founder of Goldeye. We are a technology provider that's been around these markets for 15 years, so one of the earliest companies operating in this space. We operate in two main areas, retail FX and institutional crypto, and we provide liquidity aggregation and liquidity management, EMS, for the crypto side and also for the FX side. We have risk management tools, business intelligence tools, and then we have money manager tools. And the area of AI that we're interested in, that we play in, is not, as everyone else is doing, is using AI to help trading and analyze. It's to help the brokers protect themselves against AI trading. So it's the other end of the chain, because if you're a broker and your clients are almost certainly using AI to trade against you and you'll be booking, you need to be aware of this, and you need to be able to manage that flow and manage what to do with it, because it's if you're not, you're going to lose.
Hello everyone, my name is Luca. I'm with TradeLocker. TradeLocker is a trading platform built by listening to traders and brokers and prop firms. We specifically focus on community's feedback to develop it, and that's why it has grown so quickly, so fast. And we use AI in almost every aspect of our business, from marketing to development. But today is also a special day because we are launching our new product, a part of TradeLocker, which will help anyone to develop their own scripts, so indicators and bots, by using AI. So I can talk about that as well.
And my name's Qasim Esak. I am the head of client optimization at Pelican Trading. Pelican white labels copy trading apps for Forex brokers. We work with both MT4, MT5, and DX Trade, and we're collaborating with Microsoft on content management, data analysis, and RNGPT. Before we get started, I wanted to ask the audience if you could please put your hands up if you have used ChatGPT. Excellent. Oh, great. So, out of curiosity, how many of you have used Google's Gemini? Interesting. A lot less. Food for thought, that. So, today we're going to go through 4 or 5 themes and hopefully have a really good conversation about AI. First and foremost, I want to ask the panel on how they have experienced the evolution and impact of AI in the fintech space. Specifically, how did you approach your products, the industry before AI? How are you approaching it now in the current landscape? And how do you expect future advancements will disrupt the industry? Andrew, do you want to start?
Okay, yeah. So I got involved in the word AI many years ago. AI has become a family name now that encompasses a lot of things, but I think most people commonly understand it through machine learning. And in the beginning, back in 2006, there were less systematic hedge funds out there. And that's grown in percentages of the markets that use systematic systems. And in MT4, we have people using bots and such forth. And what I've seen is an evolution in the market in terms of more volumes going through systematic, whether it's market making or trading, but the evolution of data. And so I work with archives of news and how that can be incorporated into trading strategies, like you extract information out of that data. And the data sets that have been evolved and used in automated trading now encompass many, many other things, such as satellite data or weather data. I was talking to a power trader the other day, and how the accuracy now with global warming on weather data is really important towards the pricing of crops. And what I've seen recently working with our quants is the extraction and creating new data sets that are unique by using these LLMs, and also how these LLMs have made the market much more competitive and allowing people to access machine learning at greater scale and quickly. So you have multiple data sets coming in and you can analyze that data quickly, which was something that was a purveyor of big funds that had huge teams of quants. Now that can just be done very quickly. And so what we're going to have to see is these larger funds are going to have their uniqueness in the market and their edge in the market, and it won't be what it was, and we'll have to now find new ways of new data sets, and perhaps using our large language models to find unique ways of interpreting the market that the person on the street can't.
So, Andrew, on that one, we have a real-time anonymized data feed for analytics on what's going on in the FX markets. And what we found when we were talking to data consumers is that they could really only take data daily. You talked to them about doing real time, and they didn't really understand this concept. They would take stuff daily. But this surely needs to have something much more of a real-time basis to be able to benefit from it, do you think?
Well, the data, I think, the sweet spot for our data, for news sentiment data, is probably daily data, aggregated data. And there are people who have always tried to get millisecond by millisecond, and going back to the economic calendars 15, 20 years ago. But I remember talking to the liquidity provider at XNS and say, you need minuscule data sets, and news just can't kick in like that. And news has a longer, it has a half-life, let's say, and a lot of data sets have half-lives that can carry on being useful for a long time and have different values at different times. It intersects within the market.
Yeah, at the moment, most of AI, what I see, is being used to either summarize a lot of data, use it to become a co-pilot for your in-app or in-app assistant, so something like customer support, because it doesn't make sense anymore. It takes a long time to reach out to customer support, to wait for an answer. It's much faster to just go in-app, chat with someone. So like summarizing the data, using the data as an assistant or co-pilot in your app, and finishing the tasks. And what we look at in TradeLocker is what the traders are doing now and how that will look like in the future. So if you look at a trader now, just a quick example, they have to go, if you have an idea for an indicator or a bot that helps you trade quicker, trade more efficiently, and you can see that if you're a broker, if you're a prop firm, if you're an affiliate, you can see different examples of that, different variations. But now you have to go and hire somebody to write the code for you. You cannot even test your theory. You have to rely on someone else. What we're working on now is using the AI. We're training our own LLM so that inside of TradeLocker, you can do things faster. You can chat with your assistant, use the data, backtest it, write the code, backtest it, see the results, and then potentially use it. If you want, then you can hire someone who can develop it for you, improve it, and stuff like that. But now it's getting much faster. So I think the key for any business out there right now, with the capacities of AI right now, is seeing what are traders doing and what are their activities, habits, how can you speed up the process, make it more valuable, make it more efficient, and that's what we're doing now in TradeLocker Studio.
I think the trade and trade execution is one side of the story where there's a lot of evolution with new innovation and AI generation. And the other side is really also like to analyze and understand the market better to get to the trade execution, right, apart. And that's really like from a very like manual process from the early days where you believe in technical analysis or fundamental analysis and understand, how the market moves and understand historical data and how the future might move. And here is really like AI becoming a valuable insight and partner to into kind of enhancing forecasting, becoming better, more efficient, and also quicker, but also like about getting more insights in the market, how the market might move. And that helps customers to get more comfortable and confident into the financial markets and how that can influence like the trading itself. And this was maybe in the past more accessible for hedge funds and bigger companies and bigger firms, but this is really like opening up to the broader audience who are interested in starting to trade or invest in the market, and this became from like reading large data, identifying like certain patterns or certain insights into the market, to understanding how can actually news or and this social media discussions influence the market movement, and especially in a year like this year where there are so many elections happening. We just have recently seen it with the European election and the results in France, how they are affecting the CAC 40 and the market there. And it's really like something what you can then identify out of like AI learnings to highlight and emphasize those movements, and they are helping you to get a better take and a quicker take on the market to invest on time and maybe also find new opportunities, new ideas.
That's really interesting, Lilian. I understand that you're doing some really interesting stuff with sentiment analysis at Trading Central, but I want to bring in Stephen. You work for forexbrokers.com. You're very much a research outlet, and I'd imagine you've got an interesting perspective because you look at the industry from a bird's eye perspective.
Right. Yes, I think what we can see here from the responses is there are many use cases for AI in so many aspects of business, many that we don't even know yet. New emergent capabilities, and companies have an opportunity, whether you're a broker or a technology provider, to use it internally, for efficiency gains, kind of like how Andrew pointed out, or for research. I think in consumer-facing applications, it's a lot harder because you can't just plug AI into, a legacy technology like our existing, technology stacks. You kind of have to rethink the user experience and rethink, the customer journey in terms of how generative AI can work with that, and how you feed the data to the AI, whether it's in a prompt or a series of prompt templates, and things like retrieval augmented generation, where you're taking news and feeding the news via API to the LLMs. Because otherwise the LLMs can hallucinate, and that's one thing I'm sure you've all experienced, where you're interacting with ChatGPT and you're, giving it your prompt and it's telling you the wrong answer, and that can happen. And it's really difficult when you're doing it in financial markets because you want the right information, you want, the research to be, accurate. So I think it's going to improve. It's only going to get better. But the time is definitely now to start thinking of how can we implement AI in different ways, beyond just using it as a chatbot, right? And so I think, what I've seen is it's still early. Brokers are still experimenting. Not a lot of brokers have launched consumer-facing generative AI products. I mean, AI has been around for a long time in financial markets, but generative AI is still very new. So I think that is something that we're going to start to see a lot more of, whether it's in research, education, the trading platform experience, to assist the trader and to, for efficiency gains.
Do you think that the generative bit is a bit of a hype at the moment, and we're in this sort of, it can solve every single problem in the world, but actually a lot of the original AI, the machine learning stuff, is where the power is, certainly on the sort of side I'm looking at in the brokers, because if I was a broker now, I'd be quite terrified actually if I've not got any protection against all of these really clever bots that can just take me out. And machine learning is what you can apply to traditional data sets and traditional databases and find patterns and things.
Right. No, I agree, and I'm sure you'd add on this, that machine learning is more for, it's more reliable on the personalization side. Generative AI could probably be used for certain things that machine learning does, but then there's certain things that generative AI does well that machine learning can't do. But like you said, there's still a lot of flaws because whether it's the training data that might be inaccurate, or the AI telling someone to put glue on pizza because it read it on a Reddit post and can't differentiate satirical content from real content. I think those are still challenges, but there is a hype phase that certainly is coming back down.
But I think that's also like a really important aspect, that it is not either or. Like there is like the machine part, but there's also the human part, and that needs to be combined in order to kind of really like elevate and make the maximum, the optimize the results, right? If you only go for the machine side, then you get the results maybe of glue on the pizza, but this is kind of where it is important to still combine machine learning and AI models with experts on the particular parts, like here in finance. So you are pairing up with financial experts to really understand and optimize the results for the community.
I think also, going back to Tom's point, is the hype. As a business owner, you can start spending so much time and energy on using this, and it's advancing so quickly that anything you've spent all your energy on is suddenly out of date very quickly. And you've got to look at your DNA as a company, who you are, what you're doing. And if you're going to use something and you're going to spend a lot of time, you've got to make sure that it's a unique proposition that's going to last the time, which is very hard when this technology is advancing so quickly. And if I think you were saying as well, like putting out a chatbot, like you spend a lot of time, your developers getting it working, and then suddenly in 6 months' time, something better's come out, and it's also very disruptive. A lot of myself, including I'm sure everyone, is looking at this. The whole world is going to change. I mean, what will our businesses look like in 5-10 years' time? So
Skynet.
Yeah.
So I'd like to bring Luca into this, because obviously you just announced a new AI product today, and TradeLocker very much jumped with both feet into the AI waters right now. Strategically, Why did you feel it was important to develop your own products in-house as opposed to outsourcing? And to touch on Andrew's point there, how are you going to make sure that your products are going to stand the test of time?
All right. Yeah, I think every larger company that has their own data will create their own LLM. Because if they don't, they will share the IP with someone else, and they don't want it. I think what we're going to see much sooner than 5 to 10 years is we're going to see thousands of LLMs, not just ChatGPT, Gemini, and stuff like that. We're going to see many more LLMs, every single whatever, in every industry. Healthcare company, trading platform, broker will have their own, and they're going to have their own IP. Because what is AI is basically translating English to code. And it's only dependent on previous data in trading or in text. So what we're doing is we are looking at what would bring value, as I said, and it definitely does so far. We wouldn't do it if it didn't make sense. So in TradeLocker, right now we have Studio. We're looking at other products inside of our conglomerate that are also very interesting in the industry, like as I said, a co-pilot inside of your app that helps you speed up the learning process, get information faster, using the data for trading and making better decisions. But every company here listening to this panel probably has at least a few things they can do, execute on, and create their own unique LLM or a product that can be used based on their data.
Brilliant, that's really interesting. So it's clear that there's many advancements for AI in the future, and you're right, Andrew. We don't know the world we're going to live in a year, 2 years' time. But something that we do have right now are those LLMs. The audience mentioned that many are familiar with ChatGPT, a little bit less with Gemini. Something I wanted to ask you, the panel, is the power of prompting. Can you explain to the audience what a LLM is and how to leverage prompting and the dangers of not prompting?
I mean, I only realised fairly recently when a friend of mine wrote a book. It's got a weird name, but it's basically how to prompt. As to that you needed to do it, because I was using ChatGPT and asking it questions and I was getting rather stupid answers, and I realised that unless you give it some context, it's going to give you very generic and generally wrong stuff. But if you start just honing in just a bit and saying, answer this question as a broker in the FX markets in 2024, and you give it more and more context, you don't even give it a lot, and it starts getting really good. And the more you prompt, the better it gets. So it's really important that I'm not sure most people know about, actually. It's a bit of a secret, isn't it?
I would add to that, if I may, that people aren't used to prompting because the way we search for things on Google, is totally different than how you would find a solution to a problem you're trying to solve with a model. And the real trick that I would share is you have to be patient, persistent, and perseverant, because sometimes you have to literally steer the model to get to where you want to go, and it may take a lot of prompts to get there, and having the patience and the perseverance and the persistence to do that is sometimes what's necessary in order to get it to succeed and to do what you want it to do, because it might not understand the problem, it might give you bad feedback and hallucinate, it might need more context and more understanding of what you're trying to do. There's also meta prompting, which I actually wrote a little ebook about, where you can ask it to help you create the prompt. So if you tell it what you're trying to do and say, create a really detailed prompt to help me achieve X, then you can actually leverage some of its creativity. But the prompt is really the secret sauce, because if you ask it a simple prompt, it'll just give you a simple answer. And I think Google frowned upon that with the last algo update, on the SEO side, because all writers out there were using ChatGPT and other LLMs to create content, but their prompts were so mediocre and simple that the content was very simple that they were getting from the LLMs. So if you want your content or whatever you're doing to be of high quality, you really have to have a high quality prompt and spend extra time explaining what you're trying to do, because that extra information will often help.
I think I'm right saying that it only is valid for that session, isn't it, as well? So when you start a new session, it's forgotten everything again.
That's a great
But
point.
it helps you because the learning curve is exponentially kind of going very quickly up because you're like, you enter one of the prompts and then you see like, okay, I need to tweak it. And with every tweak, you learn yourself very quickly what to enter next time. And therefore, you are becoming more efficient and find, your answers much more quicker the more you're using it. And I think that's kind of like really exciting for the community and for everyone to try it, right? And this is also like optimizing and improving the models out there. And it really helps all demographic groups, not just the younger generation, but everyone like to give it a try and find answers to understand, in particular, the financial market. But it's like, for anything what you are interested in and where you are looking for an answer for, right? But in particular for us Trading Central, it is like something really to understand how can I optimize my research? Everyone knows that everyone is reading news nowadays, right? And you scroll a lot, right? So how do you know that what you're reading right now is actually the most important news you need to understand, in order to kind of like, start trading or continue trading, right? And with all those models, it really helps you to optimize and identify what is actually really important in the market right now.
How do you know whether it's fake news? Because it seems to be on most of the social media, 95% of it's fake news or just got a lot wrong in it. Can it help with identifying that?
Very good point, but I think that's kind of where it gets to pairing up human interaction with machine learning to train and understand, and optimize the results out of that. Yeah.
And if I could add on that, the training data is important because a lot of LLMs, their training data is up until a certain cutoff date. And if you're using AI to do something where you're relying on that trading data, you have to be aware of it might have limited information because it's, its training date might be until last September. So if something happened after that and it doesn't know about it, then I think it can definitely fail. But to your point about the human feedback, I think that's really important. Whether you're revising a prompt or whether you're sending information to the LLM via API, whether it's chart data or news, you're telling it, hey, these are the facts, and then you're asking it to reply to you based on some prompt template, there's a much lower likelihood that it's going to hallucinate because you've told it the facts. So it's not going to have to depend on its training data.
Have any of you come across any good content or digital marketing campaigns that have been AI generated?
None. I think almost whenever I get a digital marketing, an AI-based one, you can just tell immediately. So it'll say, "Dear Tom Higgins, who lives in Guildford," and things like you just don't say as a human. And so many of them are rubbish. So there must be better ones coming because they're not very good now.
I think I've seen a football game where women were playing football, and I think AI basically replaced their heads with male football players, and then everybody thought, wow, these guys are playing really good. And then in the end, they just removed the AI. I think that was pretty cool.
Regarding content, I just want to be clear that, we, at the beginning at forexbrokers.com, we were very clear that we weren't using AI, in our research and content. Because if you think about it, we're subject matter experts in our fields, right? So chances are you're going to know better than the AI if it's something that you're a subject matter expert in. Doesn't mean you can't use it for creativity and other use cases, but we put out a generative AI policy to let Google know and our readers know that this is how we use or how we don't use and when and where, etc. And luckily that was before that algo update where Google penalized a lot of the content which was kind of AI spam. So I would say if you're a subject matter expert in something, chances are you can write the content better than AI can. But that doesn't mean that AI can't be useful for you for creativity and for other use cases beyond writing.
About AI written content, I don't know if there are any marketers in this room, but if you know Neil Patel, he just published a blog post where he and his team made a research. They basically tagged each of their posts. It's written by AI, it's written by combination of AI and human, or it's written by human. And they kept posting, and they've noticed that if it says it's written by AI, people spend about 1 minute 20 on the page, and if it says it's written by human, they spend like 3 times more. So if you are transparent about your content, people maybe it affects how long people read it, But I also tried doing it without mentioning, and still people read AI content much less.
Maybe something that's going to come out of this is actually realizing the importance of humanity and how important we are as actually people, because all the generic stuff can be done by the machine, but the really clever stuff, the human bit of it, is highlighted.
I agree. I see that's really like something what is coming out of that like, the forecasting or the repetitive tasks, they are really kind of like move into this AI machine learning kind of like direction to, and make us more clever from a human side, to really focus on the specific and tailored contents where we can really kind of add additional value for the readers or anyone who is like, interested in it.
I also think it's really interesting from a textual basis looking at this content. I come from a journalism background, and you see in the world that New York Times is suing OpenAI. News Corp has just reached an agreement with OpenAI and others. And a lot of these companies are going to get a lot of money, but it's not going to replace the money they had before. And they're getting rid of a lot of journalists. In the US, if you look at journalism websites, there's tons and tons of redundancies happening. And if the authentic content gets less and less, and Google's bypassing or whatever it happens, it's a bit like what happened in the noughties when the websites started offering free media. You're going to get less authentic content, and then somehow it's going to come a loop, potentially. I don't think it can't eventually happen, but where generative AI feeds the OpenAI model of ChatGPT, and it goes round and round and round again. And these companies rely, for their learning models, on authentic original content. And so I'm interested to see where the balance will come, because you need authentic content, not just in journalism, but also in imagery and others.
It's a really important point on authenticity. I was at an event hosted by the UK government a few weeks ago. Rishi Sunak was there, and we were talking about all the possible advancements with AI, but they also warned against AI washing. In recent years, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with greenwashing, where companies will lie or mislead about their carbon footprint, etc. And a real concern that I have moving forward is AI washing. Something I'd like to ask the panel is, how does one ensure transparency when it comes to AI? You probably see it outside, to be honest. Lots of companies will have on their marketing materials machine learning, generative AI, but they don't know what that means. So as people that are working for companies that are actually doing proper work with AI, what are your thoughts on AI washing?
I think that it's important to develop a policy and let your staff know what acceptable use cases are in different contexts. If you're in a marketing team, it has to come from the top down in terms of how can AI be used and how it shouldn't be used. This way people take responsibility, and companies need to be transparent, to your point, because if you're a reader, you want to know whether the content was written by AI or not. So disclosing that, being transparent, having not only an internal policy, but also an external facing policy, so your readers and clients and Google knows how you apply AI, how you use it, when and where. I think that's really important, not just to make the policy, but to follow it too, and to revise it as needed, because maybe you have a new use case and you're expanding, but you have to balance all the proprietariness as well, because there are going to be new patents and things and ways people do things that is going to give them an edge, right? To have a defensible position. Not everybody's going the open source route, so I think you have to balance that transparency with not revealing all your secrets in terms of how you're using AI, but enough so that you can maintain your integrity.
I think another sort of angle on it is, if everybody is saying they're using AI, that's a sort of, could be used to say the same AI washing, where if all the booths out there said we're using AI, most of them probably aren't, or they're using it to do some research or something like that. But so I guess if you're buying a product or licensing a product from someone and they say it's got AI in it, it's just don't take it for granted. Ask lots of questions yourself to say, how are you actually using it? What are you actually doing at it? Or are you just sitting on the term because it makes your company more valuable?
I agree. It's really like about transparency, but also education, right? Really kind of not sharing secret sources, but it's really about like to understand about why is it used in this particular kind of like field, and why it is here used more from a human aspect, and how this is combined. So it's a really combination between education and transparency, and it's really key to move forward, because everyone gets to know like AI, and everyone wants to have something about AI, but how and what and why, that's something what really needs to be defined.
I think we're the only reason why we expect others to say this is AI or this is not AI is because it's not good enough yet. The moment it becomes so good, we will stop calling it AI and we'll just stop mentioning that it's AI. So at the moment, yeah, you can mention, yeah, it's AI or it's not, but very soon it'll just be expected. It'll be normal. And you won't even think if it's real or not, who did it. You'll just use it if it's valuable. If it's not, you won't care.
I think it's a very generic term, AI, and the world will get to understand more about the words and the meanings of what's behind AI. I want to say no that. The word AI will become a little bit over generic and inauthentic.
Maybe it'll get so advanced one day, I'll be able to understand what my wife actually means when she says something. Maybe that's just pushing it too far.
And it has been compared to electricity even. You know, when you think about when electricity was first used for something like the light bulb, you know, people couldn't see beyond it replacing the candle. But think about, you know, all the use cases for electricity nowadays are like millions and who knows how many. And that's kind of how AI is. It's a general purpose technology that can be used in so many endless ways.
One of the things I was seeing the other day, a friend of mine came over from the US and I live in Spain, and he had this little bot that was translating real time what he was saying. And then I was thinking about my children learning languages at school. And I was like, well, actually, in 10 years, very soon, you won't need to speak languages because it'll just translate as you're talking. I mean, you can already use it in some areas and fields, but that's an interesting one on education, like the amount of time that people will free up not to speak languages.
Isn't that a bit sad, not speaking languages?
Exactly, because one thing is, it's true, the translation part, but you never can translate the meaning or the feeling or some kind of like, you know, expressions you have particularly in one language and not in another, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
It won't be, but it's almost also, you won't feel authentic. But it will allow me to travel around the world and speak 50 different languages.
But that's about AI and optimization. I think it really helps to enhance our lifestyle and how we are kind of like, navigating our day-to-day life. But this feeling and this interaction, the human thinking and creativity, that's something, right, is still something what is on the human side, right?
Yeah, there's no replacing that. On that subject, so aside from my work at Pelican Exchange, I'm also a local councillor in London, and council is responsible for lots of local governance. And I recently had a resident who was having a housing crisis evaluation. They were homeless, and we needed to have a review on whether or not they were eligible for a council property. Problem was, she was Tamil and only spoke Tamil, and the officer did their evaluation, spoke to them, did an interview, and they deemed them unfit. I went back to him and was like, do you speak Tamil? And surprise or not, surprise, George did not speak Tamil. And that's an example where AI visual language translation tool could have really meaningful impact on people's lives, not just in FinTech, but across every industry and every space. So another thing when it comes to AI is we're here at an FX conference. Algo trading has existed for quite some time. It's not new. And I think one of the most prominent use cases people would speculatively imagine AI would be useful for is algorithmic trading. Can you explain to the audience the difference between algo trading and AI-driven trading, and the nuances behind that, and how it might be appropriate for the Forex brokers in the room?
I did see. I once thought, there's ChatGPT, maybe there's something called TradeGPT, sound like a good idea. And I found a website called TradeGPT, and it had a big banner on it that said, we've shut down. It said, the algo went a bit wrong, and we lost everybody's money. so sorry. This was a couple of years ago, it was very early. But I think this was before people realized about the hallucinations that it does, is that it will very confidently give you completely the wrong information. So I don't know how to answer your question, but I'm sure everyone else does.
I would add briefly that there are different ways to use AI for automated trading? Because algorithmic trading has been around for over a decade, and just because someone has an algo bot doesn't mean it's going to make money, because sometimes people get impressed, oh, you're using an algo. And it's the same thing now with AI. It's coming back, it's making a comeback as far as, you're seeing a lot of influencers promoting, some bot that's using AI. But really, are they using AI to trade or just to code the bot? I think AI is useful for coding, but even then, the bot is only going to be as good as the code behind it. And if it's just a simple strategy, well, that might not be profitable. But then again, even if the strategy is complex and you used AI to write it, that doesn't mean it's going to be profitable either. So it all comes down to the performance of the strategy. And if you have a strategy that's going to do well, you can try to monetize it, but most people will just use it for themselves. So as a result, a lot of strategies you see out there, they can either be short-lived, or they might make money at first and then fail. But I think AI can be used for coding strategies, as I'm sure you can add, Luke, on that. Or to actually trade in real time, that's a lot more complex. I think there is value for that if the AI is generating the trades. But as to your point with a hallucination, then a fat finger could make things go wrong on that trade.
That's a really interesting point. This has been a brilliant discussion. Thank you all for your time today. As we reach the closing point, I thought it'd be appropriate if we could just do some closing remarks. So just remind the audience who you are, who you work for, and what AI products you can offer, as well as letting them know how they could possibly reach out to you today and your company. And a final comment on the future of AI would be interesting. 1 minute each.
Yeah, okay, I can do it first. So guys, I'm Luca. You can visit us at Trade Locker stand downstairs, Expo Hall 2. We're a trading platform, something new in the market. We call it Next Gen, because we help traders learn very quickly how to trade, how to use the platform. We work with brokers and prop firms, so if you want to see how it works, how it looks like, come see us downstairs. And today is a special day, as we discussed here. We're launching something new to the market. If you want to see AI in action, how it helps you either develop a new or translate an existing indicator or bot, come downstairs, we'll show you how it works, and maybe we do something together.
Hello again, I'm Tom Higgins, so CEO and founder of Goldeye. We license software just to the broker side of the business, not to traders. And what we're going to help you with is protecting you against trading. So managing your liquidity, managing how you B-book, managing the shotgun trading that come at you, managing all the speed bump technology, but also analyzing all sort of trading using our Visual Edge product so that you can find these sort of things. So you can use AI in that sort of tool to find what's going on. So find me, I'm walking around, I'm quite easy to see.
Hi there, I'm Lilian Appenheimer and I'm from Trading Central. We are providing to brokers insights on education and content, identifying trade ideas, and in particular using AI to read and analyze the news and sentiment side of the market to really kind of provide a 360 view on the financial markets to help you trade. Me and my team and my colleagues are here both days, so you will find us around the floor, and yeah, looking forward to speak to you and show you a little bit more in detail the products we can offer to you.
Stephen Hatzakis here from forexbrokers.com. If you're a broker or technology provider, we'd love to hear from you. We write online broker reviews and we write content about technology in the industry to help push the industry forward, part of Reink Media Group. And thank you all for joining and hope you found it useful.
Hi, Andrew Lane, CEO of Acuity. We offer a white-labeled research platform that fits into your trading platform, or it can be used in emails, etc. And we blend traditional analysis, such as technical analysis, with futuristic data sets that are created from machine learning that create an overview and an understanding of the market and help your traders understand better what is happening in the market. And same as Tom, we license B2B to brokers, and then you provide our analysis and tools direct to your traders.
And I'm Qasim Esak. I'm the head of client optimization at Pelican Trading. We white label copy trading apps to Forex brokers. think your very own eToro or Robinhood, but uniquely your own if you're a Forex broker. We're at booth 153. Please feel free to have a conversation later today. And that brings us to an end. Please can we do one final round of applause for everyone on the panel. It's been a really interesting, engaging conversation, and thank you for your time.